Good evening and welcome to the Franklin Fire Virtual Community Meeting for Friday, December 13th, 2024. My name is Jazz Shaw, Public Information Officer. First, I would like to start with some updated numbers on acreage and containment. The Franklin Fire currently is at 4,037 acres. 32%, and we have 1,725 personnel assigned to the incident. Up next, we'll hear from experts who will discuss fire suppression, weather impacts, fire behavior, and our evacuations. Then we will conclude with a message from our incident commanders. If our viewers have additional questions that are not answered during the presentations, please submit your questions in the YouTube chat. Your questions will be answered and addressed at the conclusion of the presentations. First, we will have an update from operations.
Good evening, Drew Smith, Operations Section Chief for the Franklin Fire. First, I'd like to talk about the word risk and the risk that we have in the area for wildfire and the risk your firefighters take to combat these fires. Today, we've had some great opportunities to take advantage to mitigate some of that risk for this fire to move, but we've also had some challenges on the suppression activities because of the steep and rugged terrain. However, with the fire being split in half, we've had significant success along the road system, along Piuma Canyon Road, down to Carbon Canyon with direct handline construction and our use of our aircrafts with hose lines as well. Along the front of Pacific Coast Highway, we're in the front of that to where we're mopping up around structures, mitigating any smoke so we can reduce that threat as the days go on so we could have a success in there for people to live their lives normally. As we look around the top towards Malibu Canyon, that also poses a significant risk to your firefighters because of the steep, rocky terrain, and it's very hard to get a purchase in there to get the hand lines in there. So we have areas that we have to be in coordination with our hand crews and also our aerial support activities with our aircraft to utilize water in this steep terrain. And I use the word risk because of the rocky conditions we have. We have significant risks that harm or could harm our firefighters from falling rock and debris. So we have to be very safety conscious on how we're going to combat this fire when it's in the fire suppression phase of controlling the lines. As we look down into Perco Canyon down to the west, we've had great success once again because of the cooler temperatures, and our crews are able to work with clear air and also with cooler climate to be successful in those mop-up endeavors with our hose lines, getting way interior to extinguish any of that interior heat. As we work around towards Pacific Coast Highway, we've had great success there as well with our fire suppression activities with hose lines and hand lines with our engine companies. We're also in full supportive mode along the front around all the structures to support the community, and also with the structure defense mission and mopping up once again around those homes. That's the end of the operations section fire.
Good evening, Rich Thompson, incident meteorologist on the Franklin incident. Weather-wise, next couple of days, we're going to go through some noticeable changes in the weather from one day to the next. Beginning with tomorrow, we expect the remnants of a weak cold front to move across the area. What that's going to do is bring in some cooler temperatures, some higher relative humidity, and maybe the slight chance of some very light precipitation, some sprinkles, maybe 1/100 of an inch. Nothing of really significance in terms of rainfall, but definitely kind of a cool, cloudy day tomorrow into tomorrow night. Then going into Sunday, we start switching the pattern. We're going back into an extended period of offshore winds. So beginning Sunday into Monday, you're going to have development of some weak northeast winds across the area, gusting about 15 to 25 miles per hour. Then as we get into later, into the middle part of next week, we're still on track for another round of Santa Ana winds. At this point in time, the Tuesday to Thursday time period looks like to be a moderate Santa Ana wind event for Southern California. For this area here, in and around the Franklin Fire, probably expecting in that Tuesday to Thursday time frame wind gusts from the north and northeast at about 30 to 45 miles per hour. And with that, humidity is dropping down the low teens and single digits. with the strongest winds expected late Tuesday night into Wednesday. But again, we're looking for that moderate Santa Ana in the next Tuesday to Thursday time frame with those very low relative humidities. But again, this particular upcoming Santa Ana wind event is not going to be anywhere near as strong as the event that occurred when this fire first ignited. So we're still something we're monitoring here in the weather shop, and we'll kind of keep following things along and giving the team the latest information and the updated forecasts.
Good evening, Jan Smoots, Fire Behavior Analyst for the Franklin incident. With all the excellent efforts from the firefighters in their suppression and the cooperation of the weather over the last few days, we've really seen the probability of any increase in fire activity continue to go down. That being said, there is still some potential out there with the combination of critically dry brush, extremely steep slopes, and some weather conditions that the IMET talked about that are coming up next week. We still have some potential for this fire to get up and move unless we extinguish all sources of heat. Now, some of those heat sources, as operations discussed, are in some very steep and inaccessible terrain. It's going to take some time to get those extinguished with troops on the ground, aerial resources, or to let them burn out on their own. We're going to remain vigilant and continue working until all those heat sources have been extinguished.
Good evening, Captain Jennifer Situ with the Malibu Lost Hills Sheriff Station. Today we made great progress in our repopulation efforts. I just want to go over some of the soft closures that we have, which are residents only and must show IDs. So Los Flores Canyon Road, north of Pacific Coast Highway, Carbon Canyon Road, north of PCH, Sweetwater Canyon Drive, north of PCH, Puerco Canyon Road, north of PCH, Corral Canyon Road, north of PCH. So the only hard closure that we actually have is the Malibu Canyon Road will be a hard closure between Piuma Road and Civic Center Way. For the most updated information on evacuations, please go to lacounty.gov/emergency. We'll also put that in the chat, as well as pw.lacounty.gov/road closures/map. We will continue to have security patrol throughout the affected area. So residents know that we will have deputies out there patrolling your areas to make sure that they are safe. Thank you.
Hello. Good evening. I'm Marianne Riggins, Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Malibu. Thank you for joining us tonight. And as we shift from response to recovery following the Franklin fire, I want to acknowledge how challenging this time has been for our community. Many of you have faced uncertainty, displacement, and loss, and yet Malibu's resilience and strength have shown through. I'd like to take this opportunity to provide you with city-specific updates and next steps as we move forward together. With the lifting of evacuation orders, we are also seeing progress on road access. This is a significant milestone in our recovery, and it reflects the tireless work of the first responders and agencies who have ensured our community's safety. Pacific Coast Highway, PCH, is now fully open, and while some roads remain under soft closures for residents only, we are committed to working with our partners to ensure full access as soon as it is safe. Please check with the city's website for latest information on road status. As families return to their homes, I want to assure you that recovery efforts are fully underway. The city is working closely with Los Angeles County Fire's hazmat team on phase 2 of debris cleanup for safely clear properties of hazardous materials and debris. These efforts are critical as we prepare for winter weather, and we encourage all residents to prioritize safety during the process. We also recognize the importance of supporting our local businesses during this time. The city is actively working on resources and information to assist business owners as they assess damages, reconnect utilities, and reopen their doors. Business owners can expect dedicated support at our upcoming Local Assistance Center and through ongoing updates from the city. On Tuesday, December 17th, the city will host a local assistance sitter at City Hall, no longer Bluffs Park, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This one-stop resource will bring together 15 agencies, including Los Angeles Fire and Los Angeles County Public Works, Southern California Edison, to provide support for residents reconnecting services, assessing recovery resources, and preparing for winter conditions. Connecting with Los Angeles County Public Works will be especially important for residents near the burn scar areas to ensure that they know what to do before winter rains. I also want to address the status of our schools. We are thrilled to announce that Malibu Elementary, Malibu Middle, and Malibu High Schools plans to reopen on Monday, December 16th at 2024, following thorough cleaning and inspections. These campuses sustained no damage from the fire or winds and will be ready to welcome back students. Unfortunately, Webster Elementary School sustained more significant damage, including smoke damage inside classrooms. Repairs and professional restoration are underway, and Santa Monica Malibu anticipates reopening Webster on Monday, January 6, 2025. In the meantime, Webster students and staff will temporarily relocate to Malibu Elementary School starting Tuesday, December 17th, for families ready to return to in-person learning. Please contact Santa Monica Malibu School District for more information. As part of our commitment to recovery and community engagement, City Hall will reopen for normal operations on Wednesday, December 18th at 8 a.m. That evening, we will host an in-person town hall and community forum at 6 p.m. at City Hall. This will be an opportunity to share updates, hear your concerns, and provide direct access to resources as we continue rebuilding together. To ensure you have access to the latest updates and resources, information is centralized on the city's website at malibucity.org/FranklinFire and recovery.lacounty.gov. And we will continue to share information on our social media platforms. Finally, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to everyone who has worked tirelessly to get to this point. From the over 1,700 first responders on the front lines, to our countless volunteers, community members, and city staff, and all those working behind the scenes. Your dedication, courage, and commitment have been extraordinary. To the residents of Malibu, your resilience inspires us all. Together, we will rebuild a stronger, safer, and united Malibu. I invite everyone to come to the Malibu Holiday Market and Tree Lot on Civic Center Way, Sunday, December 15th from 12 to 4 to have their reopening and closing day for the Malibu Foundation and Tree Lot. Again, thank you, Malibu, and thank you to everyone who came to our time of need.
Good evening. My name is Deputy Fire Chief Eleni Pappas. I'm one of the unified commanders on the Franklin incident. I would like to talk tonight about the damage incurred from the fire upon our community here. There was a valiant effort by firefighters and many structures were saved. However, during a wind-driven event, it is very difficult to stop the ember cast. We did have our disaster assessment teams go out to assess the different structures that were involved in the path of the fire. They have completed 75% of the assessment. So within the footprint of the fire area where we did sustain damage to homes and property, 75% of those structures were assessed. So I will give you the numbers of what the damage and what was destroyed based on a completion rate of 75%. And as we get 100% completion with our disaster assessment teams, damage assessment teams, we will be able to update you on the final numbers. For single-family dwellings, those are standalone houses, we had a total of 11 damaged and 8 destroyed. The difference between damaged and destroyed is damage could mean burned to a roof area, burned to a porch, or burned to a smaller portion of the house. Destroyed means that the house was on fire to the point where it's no longer livable, it's not safe to be in, and we have assessed that as destroyed. So again, for single-family dwellings, we're looking right now, after a 75% completion rate of assessment, 11 damaged, 8 destroyed. In our commercial structures, which could be stores or small businesses, we had 4 damaged and none were destroyed. And then we had several outbuildings, garages that were not attached, storage facilities, trailers. We've assessed that 4 have been damaged and 11 were destroyed. So we have a total structure count so far of 19 damaged and 19 destroyed, with that assessment ongoing. Thank you, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
Good evening. My name is Dusty Martin, one of the Unified Incident Commanders, and as you've heard from my partners speaking previously to me, is we've had a lot of good success and are continuing to march forward on our containment of this incident. Today we were able to, as you heard, to repopulate residents back into their homes and start to bring some of that normalcy back to the community. We will continue to work on that. I ask each and every one of you, as you're out on the roads and back into your communities, just know that we will have emergency personnel still working in the area, so we ask that you are cautious and drive safely in the area, as the folks are still going to be working, not just the first responders, but also utility workers, to continue to restore infrastructure back to the communities. So please be safe out there and continue to be vigilant. We continue to strengthen our control lines. You heard from our operations section chief that some of these areas are extremely difficult to get into. Very challenging, very steep country, very rugged, and so we do look out for the safety of the first responders and are using aircraft. We're using drones to monitor the heat signatures in those areas, and are continuing to look at ways to get in there and bring full containment to this incident. We will continue to update you on our containment and our progress along the fires, but we are very happy to get the residents back into their communities. With that, we ask you to stay safe, stay vigilant, continue to look at the websites that have been provided in the chat to get your most up-to-date and accurate information. Thank you and have a good night.
I want to thank all of our presenters for the great information that they provided to the community. Thank you to the community that has provided questions and asked questions in our YouTube chat. It looks like we do have a few questions for operations.
Well, thank you. I have 2 questions here. One of them states, how many homes were saved with the help from the fire brigade, hand in hand with the fire department? And first of all, I'd like to start with that it's a community brigade. And there's actually no way to tell how many they did save, but I can tell you that there was 5,600 or such homes within the area. They were coordinated in their engagement with the fire department, our law enforcement, and they're still engaged in the incident to supporting in a multifaceted way to support the incident and also the community, and that's why they were built. So they're working in the capacity that this vision that we had was for the communities, and we are very thankful and have high success for this program. Second question, for those in the hardest hit areas of Sarah Retreat, etc., what do you recommend people do before moving in? Well, you know your home better than anybody, so please take the time to evaluate your home, take pictures. If you have any questions, you need to generate a service call. Maybe it's a 911 call. It's a direct link to you see your fire engines in the area that we can offer support. It might be that you need to talk to your insurance company. You might have a claim. And if you do so and have somebody evaluate that has expert working knowledge of what the problem is, so utilizing a licensed and reputable contractor is highly advisable. But if you have any questions and you're within the area and you see one of your firefighters out there, please reach out to them so we can get you the assistance you may need or give you the direction you may need. Thank you.
Thank you. I have received one question. What's the ETA on Malibu Canyon reopening? So we did repopulate that area for residents only, not through Malibu Canyon, but there are offshoots that you can get to. So if you do live on an offshoot of Malibu Canyon, there are other ways to get to your house. Right now, fire crews as well as utility crews are working diligently to get in there, get everything safe for the entire community. We will reopen that as soon as possible. So thank you for your patience.
Hello, I received one question. Will the City of Malibu waive all rebuilding permit fees and give priority to all our Malibu residents who lost their homes and or were damaged in the Franklin fire? Regarding the fees, that'll be determined by the City Council at a future meeting. With regards to priority to the Franklin fire rebuilds, yes, similar to Woolsey Fire, there's a whole process being set up to streamline how they will get their repairs and rebuilds completed in the system. The web pages are already starting to be built on the city website. And when you come to the local assistance center meeting on Tuesday from 10 to 4 at City Hall, there will be additional information on how to start the process. The first step will be debris removal, and that'll be coordinated with the City of Malibu.
Okay, that concludes the questions portion of our YouTube community meeting. We will leave the chat open for a few minutes after we conclude this evening. So if you have questions still that were not answered, please feel free to add them in that chat. For more information, you can also visit the following websites: fire.ca.gov. Again, that's fire.ca.gov, as well as lacounty.gov/emergency. Again, that's lacounty.gov/emergency. That concludes our community meeting for this evening. Thank you and have a good night.